Hello, my name is Ade and welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, I will be teaching square numbers and the tricks to easily square two-digit numbers. Firstly, we're going to look at the easy options. So we start with square of 1. Square of 1 equals 1 times 1, which is 1. 2 square equals 2 times 2, which is 4. 3 square equals 3 times 3 equals 9. 4 square equals 4 times 4 equals 16. 5 square equals 5 times 5 equals 25. 6 square equals 6 times 6, which equals to 36. 7 square equals 7 times 7 equals 49. 8 square equals 8 times 8 equals 64. 9 square equals 9 times 9, which is 81. 10 square equals 10 times 10, which equals 100. 11 square equals 11 times 11 equals 121. 12 square equals 12 times 12, which equals 144. 13, now this is where the trick will start. 13 square equals 13 times 13, which equals 169. But there's a trick that you can use to arrive at this quickly. The first method I'll be discussing is 13 square. You can start from the left side where we have the 3 square. So 3 square equals 3 times 3. That will give you 9. Now we'll move on to the right side where we have the 1. So 1 square equals 1 times 1. That will give you 1. Now we need to work out the product of the middle part. And the middle part, where we have the 13, you multiply the 1 by the 3. Don't forget our square, which is the 2. You times that by it as well. That will give us 6. So on the right side, we have 1. In the middle side, we have 6. And on the left-hand side, we have 9. So we still arrive at 169. Another short method is method 2. So 13 square, remember, is 13 times 13, which you can work out as 13 times 10. That will give you 110. And 13 times 3, which is 39. So 130, add the 39 to it. That will give us 169. Now we move on to 14 times. So 14 square is the same thing as 14 times 14. That will give us 196. Remember, we can use this trick as well to do the same like we did in 13 square. So the first method again is 14 into the square with into a bracket with our square. Then we start from the left hand side again. 4 square, 4 times 4 will be 16. Then we'll move on to the right side where we have our 1 square. So 1 square is the same thing as 1 times 1. That equals 1. Then the product of the middle parts. Remember, we have the 14 in a bracket and the square. So that's the product of 1 times 4 times 2. So that will give us 8. So in the middle part, we have 8. But remember, we have 16 on the left side. So we need to carry 1 over to the middle part. So that will be 8 plus 1. That will give us 9 in the middle part. So our final answer will be 1, 9, 6, that's 196. And the second method, now we move on to 14 times. So 14 square is the same thing as 14 times 14. That will give us 196. Remember, we can use this trick as well to do the same like we did in 13 square. So the first method again is 14 into the square with our, into a bracket with our square. Then we start from the left hand side again. 4 square, 4 times 4 will be 16. Then we'll move on to the right side where we have our 1 square. So 1 square is the same thing as 1 times 1. That equals 1. Then the product of the middle parts. Remember, we have the 14 in a bracket and the square. So that's the product of 1 times 4 times 2. So that will give us 8. So in the middle part, we have 8. But remember, we have 16 on the left side. So we need to carry 1 over to the middle part. So that will be 8 plus 1. That will give us 9 in the middle part. So our final answer will be 196. That's 196. And the second method, again for 14 square, is 14 times 10, which will give us 140, and 14 times 4, which will give us 56. If you add those two together, 140 plus 56, that will give us 196. Thank you. Then we move on to 15. Square of 15 is the same thing as 15 times 15. That will give us 225. Or we can use this trick. Method 1, 15 bracket square. Then we start from the left side. 5 multiplied by 5 will give us 25. Then we move to the right side. Square of 1, which equals 1 times 1. That will give us 1. Then we move to the product, to the middle. Remember the product of the middle. So that's 1 times 5 multiplied by the 2. So that's 1 times 5 is 5 times 2, that is 10. But remember, on the left side, we have 25. So we are going to keep 5 on the left side. We'll take our 2 over to the middle side. So 10 plus 2 will give us 12. That means we have 12 in the middle. So because we have 12 in the middle, we keep 2 in the middle. We take 1 over to the right-hand side. So remember, right-hand side, we have 1 originally. So if we had this other 1, this additional 1 to that 1, that will give us 2. So our answer will be 225. Or you can use this second method. 15 square equals 15 times 10, which will give us 150, and 15 times 5, which will give us 75. If we had the sum of these two, 150 plus 75, that will give us our final answer, which is 225. We move on swiftly to 16 square. 16 squared is the same thing as 16 multiplied by 16, which will give us 256. Or we use this trick. For method 1, we put 16 in a bracket and square. Again, we start from the left-hand side. So the left-hand side, we have 6. So that will be 6 multiplied by 6. That will give us 36. Then we move to the right side, which we have 1 square. 1 multiplied by 1 will give us 1. Then we move on to the middle part, where we need to work out the product of 1 and 6. And remember our square. So that will give us 1 times 6 multiplied by 2. So 1 times 6 times 2 will give us 12. Now we have 12 in the middle. Remember, we have 36 on the left-hand side. So 36 on the left-hand side, we keep the 6 on the left. We take our 3 from the left to the middle. So that will give us 12 plus 3. So now we have 15 in the middle. So we keep 5 in the middle, and we take 1 over to the right side where we have 1 previously. So by adding this one to the one on the right, we give us 2. So our final answer will be 256. 256. And the second method of 11 squared is 11 multiplied of 16 squared. Sorry, of 16 squared is 16 multiplied by 10, which will give us 160. And 16 multiplied by 6, which will give us 96. If we had the sum of these two together, will be 160 plus 96. That will give us 256, which is 256, our final answer. Now let's try something different. Let's try 25. So square of 25 is 600, is 12. Square of 25 is 25 multiplied by 25, which will give us 625. Now let's use this trick. 25 square, we put 25 in the bracket and remember our square. So we start from the left side again. So we have 5 multiplied by 5. That will give us 25. Then we move on to the right side where we have our 2. So square of 2 is 2 times 2, which equals 4. Now we go for the product of 25 and remember the 2. So we have 2 multiplied by 5 and multiplied by the 2. This will give us 20. So remember on our left side we have 25. So we keep our 5 on the left side. We take the 2 over to the middle part. So that will be 20 plus 2. That will give us 22. We keep the 2 in the middle part. We take 2 over to the right side. Remember on this right side we have 4. So we add the 2 to the 4. That will give us 6. So that will give us 625. The second method I'm going to talk about is 25 square equals 25 times 10. We give us 250. Plus 25 times another 10. That will give us 250. Finally, we have 25 times 5, which will give us 125. We add the sum of these three products together. Then we have 250 plus 250 plus 125. That will give us 625. And we have another shorter method, which is method 3 of 25 squared, which is the same thing as 25 multiplied by 20. That will give us 500. Then 25 times 5, which is 125. If we had the sum of these two together, that will give us 500 plus 125, which will give us 625. Then we move on to try another one, which is 39, square of 39. So square of 39, remember we start, square of 39 is 39 times 39, which equals 1521. Now let's use this trick as well. So 39 squared, we start from the left. So we have 9 multiplied by 9, that will give us 81. We move back to the right side where we have the 3 square. So 3 square is the same thing as 3 times 3, that will give us 9. Now we move to the middle part where we have the 3 and the 9. So we find the product of 3 and 9. Remember our square, that's the 2. So 3 times 9 times 2 will give us 54. Remember on the left side we have 81. So we keep the 1 on the left side. We take the 8 over to the middle part. So that will be 55 plus 8. That will give us 62. So we keep the 2 in the middle. We take our 6 over to the right side. Don't forget on the right side we have 9. So 9 plus the 6 on the right side will give us 15. So our final answer will be 1521. That is 1521. Now let's try method 2. Method 2, we have 39 squared equals 39 times 10, 390. 39 times 10, 390. 39 times 10, 390. Then finally we have 39 times 9, which gives us 351. So 351, we had all these four sums together. We have 390 plus 390 plus 390 plus 351, which will gives us 1521. Again, 1521. Or we can try this short method in method 3. So 39 squared equals 39 times 30, which we can work out as 39 times 10 times 3, which will give us 390 times 3 equals 1170. That's 1170. Then we have 39 times 9, which will give us 351. By adding the sum of these two together, we have 1521. Now let's practice some exercise on our own, and let's try 45 and let's try 57. Thank you. Bye.